Hey guys, I am so excited today because if you remember from my I Had a Wild Weekend clickbaity title video, there was a little rant about how I pre-ordered my dream camera. The day, no, not the day, the hour it was available for pre-order. And it's been 2 weeks since the release and it's on back order and I don't get why or how. The camera did not come to me on time, but check this out, check this out. Order date July 9th, and instead of saying back order completed! Oh, I'm so excited. It's coming. Date shipped 8/14. And if you click the tracking link above it, Monday by 10 a.m. Oh my god, guys, that is only 2 days away. I am so excited. I need to buy a CF Express card. I need to get fucking ready because on Monday, and I will see you on Monday, we are going out and testing the shit out of my dream camera. Oh, the sexy B-roll will ensue. See you guys then. Okay guys, before we open up this box and check out the new Canon EOS R, I wanted to start off this video by talking a little bit about why this camera means so much to me and this camera purchase is so big for me. We're gonna stroll down memory lane real quick and then I'm gonna tell you what this video is actually gonna be about because it's not some kind of camera review or anything like that. I'm not equipped for that kind of thing. Those things exist on the internet, so if you're looking for an EOS R5 review, I will link some good ones down in the description. But this is going to be in Terra style, really testing and having fun with what I suspect will be my favorite camera of my entire life. So, you guys know, it is no secret, I've told you many times, I've used the word aesthetic probably more times than I've used the word tits, which is shocking. I've always been a lover of aesthetics, not just human body aesthetics, but just general random things in nature, within my life, in fashion, and especially within content creation. I've always been a huge nerd for production quality. I started my content creation journey with Twitch.tv back when it just turned Twitch from Justin TV, and as far as I knew, I was one of the first people actually making custom cute overlays, and delving into a more custom graphic design content style. Even previous to that, I would do my own CSS HTML coding on my MySpace page, and I was so pissed when everyone switched over to Facebook, which was much less customizable, and it just felt like everyone was the same bland profile, and then the only thing you could change was one little tiny profile picture. And when I made this vlog channel on which you are watching this video, I knew that I wanted a place to put my voice, to my opinions, to just talk about stuff. I liked philosophy, obviously. I like to show myself to the world and be open and honest with everyone. But quickly, just holding up my phone and talking to my phone and the low production quality videos that created really bothered me. So my first camera upgrade was a Sony Vixia camcorder. That was short-lived. I didn't like the quality of it. I thought that a camcorder would be better than a DSLR because historically DSLRs are more for picture taking. But then I bought the cheapest DSLR I could at the time, which was a Canon Rebel T5i, and that's when I started actually giving a shit about camera settings. After the Rebel T5i, I upgraded like 3 or 4 times. I had a specific vision in mind. I wanted that beautiful blurred background, which is called bokeh. I wanted a specific color tone in my skin and in my surroundings. I wanted things lit a proper way. And I don't know how many videos I watched just hoping for one of the content creators whose content was up to par or had a look that I aspired to have, trying to figure out which fucking camera they used. And it's so funny these days when someone asks me what camera do you use, I kind of giggle a little bit because I used to be in that boat where I was like not even asking about the lens or the settings or the lighting. I was like, what camera do you use? This looks fucking amazing. But it is a whole can of worms that you have to delve into if you want a specific style or you want to make your own style. And I feel like these past, I don't know what is it now, 7 years, 5 years, 7 years on this channel, I really feel like I've honed my style to where I know what's gonna look good to me and I know how to reset that up and replicate that in a random place. Like, I'm really liking this geometric look here, but now I can relatively easily set that look up almost anywhere. I know all of the camera settings, and these last 2 years I've really been grinding to learn more about all of this stuff so I can follow what I found to be actually my passion, which is truly geeking out over aesthetics, production quality, and all of that. Adding that with the sex appeal, with the philosophical content has really been my bread and butter. That is what I want to do with my channel. B-roll, slow motion, things that I didn't even know about or know how to do are now things that are starting to become part of my repertoire. And this brings me to last year when I bought the camera that I am filming on now, the Canon EOS R, the predecessor to what is in this box right now. I was so excited. This is my first 4K camera. I was so so fucking excited to have all of my videos in 4K, but I wasn't truly excited until I hooked it up for the first time and started filming my first F&M with this camera. Something about the new RF lenses, the color science, it was just like, holy fuck, this is what I have been chasing. This skin tone, these settings, this is what I've wanted for so fucking long. Super crisp yet super buttery. It was like, oh my god, I found my camera, because I had gone through so many cameras. The T5i wasn't up to my par, so I upgraded to a 5D Mark III, which is more of a picture camera, but I made it work for a video camera, and it still didn't look the way I wanted it to. It still didn't have the clarity and the look. Even when I got the settings close to correct, there was something off. Now, the EOS R is not a perfect camera. I love you, Big Eye. His name is Big Eye, by the way. But oh my god, does he have some flaws. The 4K, it crops in. So basically, you're seeing me here like this. If I were to switch it on to 4K, I would be cropped to like here. Now, of course, I could just move the camera farther away, but when I do that, you lose a lot of the dynamic, cinematic range and look. I know a lot of you guys probably haven't even noticed that I've upgraded my production quality, like ever, and you might just be here for the titties, but someone who geeks out about that stuff, it really bothers me. So on top of when I got the camera, people saying that it was really hard to play 4K videos, I decided to not even use the 4K anymore because the crop was just making my aesthetic completely ruined. It was horrible. Another downside to this camera, and these are the only downsides to this camera in my opinion, when I'm filming in 120 FPS slow-mo, which is that, oh my god, sexy, buttery slow-mo. You haven't seen it in any of my recent videos, but I used to do it occasionally in Fan Service Friday over on my Patreon, and oh, watch the trampoline video if you haven't. That is in 120 frames per second slow-mo, and it is so fucking cool. But this EOS R can only film it in 720p, and guess what? Here's the kicker. There is no autofocus. So I would have to set up the focus manually by like holding my hand back here or using one of the settings on my monitor to see a random thing in this plane that's in focus. Focus on that, and then while I'm being sexy for a Fan Service Friday or doing some kind of B-roll, I had to not move in or out of the depth of field, or I had to turn up my f-stop so high that there was no bokeh in the background, no blurred background, and then at that point the cinematic feel is completely gone. So two of the biggest things that I want to bring to my channel, the 4K to every video without a crop, and the 120 FPS slow-mo with autofocus in 4K is possible with this camera. This camera is basically just that camera that I'm filming on, but better. Everything I've ever wanted, the next step in my filmmaker journey, is in this box right here. So, instead of doing any kind of review, I thought, why not unbox this camera in a cool cinematic way, try some of those top-down shots, then test out some of the new specs on this camera that I'm really excited about. Namely, as I said, the 4K 120, the picture-taking capabilities, because supposedly this is second to none in picture-taking at the price point with mirrorless. And then also I want to try some of the low-light capabilities and the 8K. Yes, this camera does 8K, albeit there are some overheating issues, so I'm interested to push this camera to the limit, see if it overheats, but we're gonna do it in a very aesthetic style. So without further ado, let's have some fun and get this thing unboxed. Guys, I have never been this excited for any piece of technology before. I cannot wait to get the batteries charged and get a lens on this bad boy and start playing with it. Oh my god, guys, we need a name for my new R5. So post in the comments what I should name my new R5 and why. My R, as I mentioned earlier, is named Big Eye, and my 5D Mark III was named Candy. And then of course I had Vlad and Victor. So what, pray tell, does my EOS R5 look like he would be named? We have some batteries to open, some B-roll to take still of this, and then we'll get out on the trail. But before we get into the actual tests, there was only one thing I can imagine to do with my first few minutes of footage on my brand new camera, and that is, of course, Eve footage. You're welcome.
How did you know I was there?
Alright guys, that's enough cat stuff for you. I think it's time we do our first true test, which is hiking pics. Didn't go exactly as planned. We planned on being up in a scenic place with tons of trees, taking beautiful pictures with tons of daylight left, and instead we went to the wrong trail. It got dark way too quickly. If you want to see the entire video of that hike, it also has some philosophical content. It will be right here and in the cards. But today's test, the 120 FPS buttery smooth slow-mo in 4K on the trail, this is a test I think you guys are gonna enjoy. So enjoy it you shall. Let's go. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that B-roll as much as I had fun taking it, because it was a really cool day. First off, by the time we got back from the gym, it was downpouring like crazy. All of a sudden, crazy storm, so I was like, okay, we're not gonna be able to go out and off-road without the top on and with this brand new camera without ruining everything. So let's instead go in the backyard and take some sexy wet hair pictures. I already had wet hair from the shower. That might be a nice little consolation prize. We go outside and I kid you not, did not get one picture picture before it stopped raining. In fact, my hair got drier as I was outside because of the heat. So we're like, okay, let's actually try to go out and film this B-roll stuff with a brand new 4K 120 FPS. I was super excited about it. I still wanted to try it, even though it's possible that we get caught out in the rain. And because it had been raining, we were able to come across my very first water crossing in Reaper, and we got some really cool shots. It was just a really, really good day, and I had a lot of fun. And oh my god, 4K 120 goes without saying, so much better than 720. The autofocus actually works well. It's a dream. I can't wait to use this more. But today, what we are going to be doing is the final test, and that is testing the low light capabilities of this camera. We're gonna go down to the strip, we're gonna try to find some neon lights, and we're gonna see what kind of pictures and video ensues. So without further ado, the final test. Oh, and before I go, I wanted to mention that I also got this 50mm 1.2 f-stop prime lens. It's an RF lens instead of having to adapt all of the EF lenses to this camera. This lens is held in high regard. It's gonna allow me to open up that aperture real wide and get some amazing low light shots with bokeh. Let's go. But first, this is the Steak and Shake Reese's Peanut Butter Cup Shake in 8K. Don't judge me in my pores with this quality, okay? I think we should stop filming because my camera's gonna overheat probably. Okay guys, how about some final thoughts? We have completed the 3 tests that I wanted to get through for my new Canon EOS R5, and I have some thoughts. Is it as good as I thought it was gonna be? No. It's actually better, oh my god. But, is it perfect? No. Did it overheat? Yes. Is that the main reason that it's not perfect? Yeah, it is. So it overheated on the first day that we were doing the sawmill hike. I got a lot of 4K 60 B-roll, and that's probably why, because I was turning it off and on and taking a bunch of B-roll, and at the end I was able to take some pictures while it was overheating, but that did feel a little discouraging because I felt like the hike was really, really short, and I was being pretty sparing in how much I was filming, so I was like, am I gonna be able to get through like a huge project with this camera, or is it gonna be something that's overheating way too fast? The next day for the off-road 4K B-roll test, it did start overheating at the very end of the day, and that day I felt like we got a lot of footage. So maybe I was managing it better or I was doing something more smartly, but what I will say about this overheating thing is that it forces me not to take a bunch of video footage and a bunch of pictures that are kind of not worth my time. I often felt, like I mentioned in a previous video, like I was just trying to film literally everything to make sure that I got the shot and had really no strict purpose. But now, with this kind of time restraint, which is obviously overall a bad thing and a detriment, it helps me put things into perspective and to be like, is this shot really that good to be included into the video, or is it going to be something that I throw away later? Also, I do have to create proxies in order to edit on my laptop the 4K footage, which I've actually found to be quite helpful because now I can send the proxies over to Red that I create rather than exporting the whole uncut footage and then sending that export that's probably downgraded in quality to him, and then he sends it back and it's like a big clusterfuck. Now we can work cooperatively on a project and I can send really, really small proxy files that he can work on, and then also it's less laggy because the proxy files are much smaller than the 1080p that I used to work on. Technical stuff, but it's really helped me streamline my editing process, which is kind of a diamond in the rough for this kind of thing. On top of that, trying to find a specific setting that I wanted to change, I read through the entire manual and I got more acquainted with the camera's settings, so I was able to set up a bunch of different quality of life things that either weren't options on the EOS R or were, but I had never delved that into it because I didn't have the necessity to read the whole manual. So I'm better equipped to use this camera as well, which is another thing that's kind of a bad byproduct that I see a lot of positivity in. Nothing motivates you to create the best content possible like a new piece of equipment. Seriously, it feels like you're reinvigorated. It feels like the quality bump is gonna take you to new levels, and while without follow through that's not gonna be the case, like you actually have to work for it, that annoying little thing in the back of your brain that says, oh, this content would be better if I had a better quality camera is completely gone when you get this better quality camera that's basically the best thing you can get without buying some kind of black magic camera that's huge. So I have no excuse. If my content sucks, if my quality is lacking, it is my cameramanship and not the fault of the particular camera that I'm using. I love this camera. I am so excited for the future. I'm so excited for what I can do with this. I'm excited for a 2-camera setup. I am not going to be getting rid of my EOS R, and I'll always have it with me when I'm shooting big projects just in case this one does overheat. I'm hoping for a firmware update. I'm hoping for this camera to be future-proof with 8K. The 8K does look really good, and so does the 4K. My biggest happiness is that 4K 120. There is nothing cooler to me than some of those shots that I got in 4K 120 while I was driving my Jeep. It's just, oh, it's so crisp and clear and so much better than the 720 of the EOS R. I am so happy. I am so excited. And don't forget, guys, please name this camera with me because right now he's just sitting there as EOS R5 and I think he needs a name. I hope you guys are as excited for the future of this channel as I am because I'm having so much fun, and when I get feedback about the production quality bump, people are actually noticing it, saying that I'm getting better at B-roll and saying that they're entertained by the different aspects and the different content that I'm creating. I am just so excited to try new things. And this video in particular was really amazing for me because it got me out of my comfort zone on a lot of things. Like, I've never liked, to be honest, to shoot myself and my face, first off in HD with no skin smoothing filter, but also with harsh lighting. So like when I was down on the strip for the night shots, I've always hated how light would bounce off my face and not like perfectly light the front of my face like this. Like I look absolutely perfect here. But if light hits me weird, I can sometimes look a little weird, and for me that was a big crutch. I would never want to shoot in specific lighting, dynamic lighting and stuff. Even if they're aesthetic and cinematic, I was just like, I'm gonna look bad in that. But I was able to force myself to try that, and therefore I learned more about things that can make me look good and how it's not as bad as I once thought back in my modeling days. I remember I was like, if you don't use flat lighting, I don't want to shoot with you, because people, especially amateurs, would shoot me dynamically lit, but it would be in a way that I just had bags under my eyes that it just looked fucking awful. You can light anyone, even the most perfect person in the world, to look like a piece of shit, that's for sure. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. Thank you so much for watching this video. I know it's gonna be long, but I really hope you enjoyed it. More to come, and please post in the comments your welcoming of my brand new R5. I think it's time to give you guys and my R5, insert name in the comment section, a big hug. Thank you for watching. Ah! I love you. I don't actually want you to fuck off, by the way. I love you guys very much. This is just for the outsiders that might not be as cool as you, of course. Black on blondes always requires a lot of removal of fur.